Well, good evening. I'm warming up some short ribs I made earlier in the oven. I woke up hungry. It's a 4:02. I might have an egg. Make it official. Wow. I can't believe that we're having another hurricane so fast. And so it's gonna hit Florida in some capacity. Um it's already I think it's real bad. And like those island countries, especially like Puerto Rico's really been trying to recover. I haven't I don't I don't even think that I hate to say it that Congress hasn't really did anything to alleviate some of the suffering they had beforehand. So I mean they are part of America. They shouldn't have to look like I don't know. I hope they all get. Well, they're not the only islands, and I'm sorry, I don't know all that. There's Antilles, whatever. What do you got? Uh, Barbados, Puerto Rico, the Antilles. Oh, I can't say it right. And then you got Cuba. Looks like Cuba um might get missed. So I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of There's a lot of Hades. Oh, I forgot. There's a lot of, and Lord knows Haiti doesn't need anymore because of the World Bank giving them a loan the way they did. Um, it it's a loan that is impossible for them to ever pay back. Um, but they do that in a lot of I didn't say third world countries. I would say that countries where people were more living off the land because like here, I mean they really have something against growing stuff and you know uh it started being sort of a mystery that I noticed for 'cause we've been coming to the south. From Mississippi, and the people Mississippi, Memphis, and um area wherever and like you would see families because we had families used to share crop for us, and they really bought into the propaganda that was bad, and especially my cousin that lived here. I don't know if she wouldn't do anything out in the yard, but I don't know. I sort of understand because like you really like I don't know. It's not that easy because there's a lot of yard, and then even though I call myself just doing a small part, um, people around were wound up, city workers. They don't, I made the mistake and showed them like right in that area there's poison ivy, so so they wouldn't fuck with it. But right there's cucumbers, and I'm thinking, oh well, you'll see flowers. There are all flowers blowing here. You know what I'm saying? But I forget that they they were more taught by the hand than vocal, and sight, you know, and which is a damn shame because black kids are very good at vocal. If you let them, they'll be very vocal. Um, all kids, but it's a shame. But it's sort of part of the propaganda to because the corporations and companies comes first. I read that somewhere. It's like in one of those papers they have, out of the White House. Um, I don't know. I guess declassified, but I read it some time back, so I guess like I don't know, classified, declassified. You know, if it was classified, I would have never seen it, please. Um, but um it's somewhere like you know uh, hidden it or whatever, but it shows sort of the objectives, and one of them is for the companies to run. And that's where you had a lot of interference, like with the airplane and the train transportation. You know, they just pretty much abolished the train situation to try to encourage people to fly more. But I prefer trains. I've flown, I've fl- never mind. I've been in planes before, and um, um, I don't like it. You know, I don't like the way. You know, I don't like it when you pay a lot of money, but you get treated pretty bad, and so that is the problem there. And like I ended up like I felt that I could have drove because I ended up have to spend the night there the last time, and it was just you know. But every time I feel like I could have probably drove because you got to be there early and you're hanging around for what, so like even if it's just like let's say a 3 hour flight, and since you have to go through all the stuff that you have to go through, get searched, remember taking off my shoes, whatever, right? So then that's 2 hours, so that's 5 hours, and then when you have to get your I just can't stand it. Flying makes me crazy. I can't stand it. I get out of it. I just so much anxiety for me. I just don't like it. They make you feel uncomfortable the whole time, and they don't treat you like these tickets cost money. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're doing you a freaking favor. But anyway, so what I'm trying to get at, that's and that's why I don't fly. But Amtrak, I do like Amtrak. Amtrak, even if they like, I don't know, whatever they do. I mean, we went somewhere and they had the dogs go through, but whatever. The people were nice still, or I did, and you could walk around. You don't have to sit in that little chair. Even if you don't get a bed, even if you're gonna sleep in the chair, you could, I think, I could get up and I could walk around. There's a dinner car, and then there's a snack car, and there was like one area where it was all glass up top, and I don't think there were like all of them, but that train there was they had the falling stars or whatever, a whole bunch of them, or comet maybe. I think it was a comet. But it was late at night. I fell asleep up there anyway. But I did see it. I did see it because there was other people that was up there. And they were like, "Whoa!" And I looked up and I was like, it was just pretty. Like back to sleep. But um, so it is all about the corporations come first, and one of the things that that they knew they can make money from, because people always have to eat. Doesn't take a genius. This is when you have these leaders with the IQ like a 50. Like sometimes I think Trump was like, no, he hasn't fucked that many hoes that he's got syphilis like that. to, to where he had it such a long time that I don't know. Like, is it too late for penicillin? Yes, but and that happens. Um, um, but so like usually I don't know. Get your self checked, guys. Go to your urologist, and like once a year maybe, and get everything checked out. You have prostates and other things to worry about. If you're not embarrassed to look at XX or do the deed, have sex, you shouldn't be embarrassed to go and uh, to the appropriate doctor, even if the doctor is not mature enough. Because I don't know. I went to the doctor the other day. I didn't really. Well, around here, I used to have people think I was funny, but around here they don't laugh because everything is so personal. Everything is meant to hurt, you know. So like, um, I made him laugh, but before that, I made the nurse laugh. She started asking me all these questions. Do you smoke? Then she asked, do you drink? And I said, let me stop you right there. I smoke, I drink, and I have sex. And she goes, well, I wasn't gonna ask. And she goes, what? And I'm like, I figured that was the next question. She goes, well, the drinking. Oh, she just asked about the smoke. She goes, the drinking was, but not the sex. And she laughed, you know. And oh, and when I told her about why the police is mad at me because when we had that flood of May 2010, and this like policewoman standing on dry land, mind you, um, on this side, not this side, but I have a retaining wall there. She's standing right there and she's yelling at me about evacuate the flood. I'm standing on dry land, so she's like getting pissed off because like I'm just staring at her. I'm not saying anything because I'm thinking, okay, this bitch is like a 2-year-old having a tantrum tantrum. Somebody just told her that this is what, you know, or whatever. But she's, you know, she's like, you know, I'm like, and I'm thinking she's a moron. And I don't mean it like, yeah, I do mean it that way. But I mean like, her IQ is like 50. But, and so like, she got the electric company come up here. And the electric guy, you know, like, and I hate it because like, when you're dealing with someone that's having like, you know, like really picking and bullying at you, but they're wrong. The other person, they always look at you like you do something. I'm like, nah, she called you. So he laughed, and then she just comes up and she yells at me. What would it take to get you to leave? What would it take to get your full ass up out of here? And I'm like, I look at her, you know, and I'm like, you know, you got to get evacuated for the flood. So I'll tell you what, as soon as water runs uphill, I'll evacuate. You know, because I have a retaining wall and I'm on a hill. You know, my uncle had to build this house. You know what I'm saying? Well, thank God. They have been on the total list. Then you got abused when you left the house, usually by people that didn't have melon in their skin tone. So you know, but that Aunt Lurley died at 2008 at 97. So we're talking, you know, that she was able to see, and she was very upset, and she thought she had been a fool to buy into that whooping with her daughter, because she was saying her daughter, her name Irma, was an educated fool. So rest peacefully, and because I knew that the Hurricane Irma was going to be a hell of a hurricane. I heard that like the first place it hit, that like what is the Barbaya? That the first like 95% of the is just total. You know, so they really need help. You know, and I don't know if we donate the money to the Red Cross. You know, the government's talking about, oh, you know, we're going to allow this much money. I hope that the money don't go to the government and then they just allowed it out anyway they want to. Because, you know, if they're dark, if there's people with melon, you know, white people will, you know, sometimes think, oh, well, you know, they're getting too much. You know, if they see you like with some dry shoes, you know, maybe your insurance kicked in that you could get you a car, and you're not even getting a car as nice as the one you had before because of the depreciation. You're just getting some. So you know, and then they're like, oh, then they're gonna start like, oh, well, they got that FEMA money, you know, and all the cons come, you know, and they gonna give, and then like the people looking off to get rich off of somebody that's, you know, like that, they could get real violent if they're upset because, you know, there's not as much riches as they was imagining. Because when you're trying to replace stuff, you know, like a home, a car, clothing, you still got to eat every day and drink water every day and brush your teeth. So you know that money ain't gonna be like, it goes fast. You know, They kept sending me an electric bill after I've been in the Superdome in New Orleans for 6 nights and 6 days. Um, and like the people that some other people came up in my apartment because I had left water in the bathtub and stuff, and um, um, so well, I didn't go back, but you know what I'm saying. And there's some responsibilities that I think that landlords, the electric company, have to have with humanity, and also that the people have left their homes, that there might be squatters, there might be looters out there. Don't just think, you know oh, they got FEMA money. They got a little $2,000. They can send me, and like they were gonna like send me some outrageous fucking like bill, like 200 some fucking dollars. I didn't even use the place. Like they must have people must have got electricity from the rest of the building there. But anyway, or they just New Orleans was like it was very poor. It was like being in a third world country. And I noticed that sometimes, especially when it comes to Republicans, it's like they think they have to punish the poor. Like that's going to squeeze blood out of turnip. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip. Oh yeah, well, they got money for a cell phone. They got money for this. They got money for that. You know what I'm saying? As this fool's on the cell phone telling somebody, and not taking considerations, they seen commercials where you could get free phones, and like my cell phone is $25 a month. Most people, pay a lot more than that for a cell phone. But you know what I'm saying? They, or they got iPhones or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like they're so and a lot of these are working people, and their kids have Christmas, their kids have birthdays, their parents get their tax returns back, and yeah, they do put down on their bills, but people do believe in making sure that their children have stuff, or they want some comfort. Some comfort. You working from paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of times it doesn't make it. Yeah, well, maybe you might want to have an iPhone, but if you don't have a car anymore because you can't afford it, then you can to walk. It's cheaper than Anyway, so you know what I mean. So like they have that type of thinking. Oh, look, they got clothes on. They must, and that's like this one black girl over here, but she's real poor. Like I'm like I'm gonna go out. I got $40. I'm going out. And then I was like, and then I heard who was going out. I'm like, I ain't going out. She goes, oh, can I borrow $20? I'm like, no. She finally got $1 out of me, and her boyfriend was like, he mentioned something about $1, and I was like, fuck it, you know, if $1 keeps you from fucking with me for the rest of your motherfucking life, then that dollar is well spent. You know what I'm saying? Because like they ask everybody for everything, they just panhandle, you know. So she has the same, but like makes the same type of money, but her mind can't comprehend, you know, uh, that because she gets mad. She was very abused, got whooped and sexual abused and all this before, but sexually abused before she even hit puberty. Was getting whooped before she could walk and talk, and it's very common. It's more normal. You know what I'm saying around here but I just can't deal with it. You have your different extremes. But anyway, I'm I'm, I'm really off. I'm sort of tired. Oh, let me check on this. It shouldn't take too much. I fell asleep and I guess I'm trying to burn it. And I went ahead and seasoned it with for some reason, but it's all right with the rosemary. It actually pretty good taste. Let's see. My poor ribs. I fell asleep and fell off the bone. Oh well, it's warm enough. My poor ribs. I fell asleep and it looks like I actually did barf, but it's not really that bad because it's like there's, you know, So I used a little sugar. Not that bad. Really not that bad. So, but I I'll get to it in a minute. Anyway, I'm sort of really think it's sort of weird, Trump. Especially what he's doing. I wonder if it only affects Mexicans that he's these dreamers, or are there Muslims like like somebody from Lebanon, um, you know, I know it mostly affects Mexicans. It's like they're right. It's right over here. Um, not bad. I didn't hurt it with the rosemary. But anyway, I don't understand. Um, I don't understand if these kids have never been to this other place. Wait, getting back to the food. So, or getting back to the where I read that um the corporations will be over people when it comes to making decisions and laws for the people. So what the food was, when it came to food, it's now we do have corporation. What is that, Monso? Oh damn, okay. That's what I get for being up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm really sleepy. But um, minus anyway, we have the and their GMOs. Um, what I mean is the plants, like we have seedless grapes. We have the genetic modified the food is, and I think it does cause health problems. Um, you know, um, but if they if the corporation, and I think that's one of the things they really have forgotten about, especially um like when it comes to some of these businessmen, like Trump's a businessman, and they took their business overseas like Trump did, and um and their businesses are not here; they're not manufactured here. And I remember, like it was like, and what I want to say, Nixon, that. Well, I tell you, I always thought, um, which one? Yeah, it was Reagan. I always thought that I always thought Reagan was really Japanese, and you had the Reaganomics. Um, and but what I was thinking, I think like sort of with Nixon, we started with the inflation, and we started with business going overseas because I remember $1.35 might have been Reagan. Yeah, it might have been Reagan that really pushed this over the top. And wages and I remember like the price of cigarettes went from 30 cents a pack, and then there was like 50 cents, and I remember people saying I'm gonna quit when they're $1. It was like when 50 cents, and then they went like 60 cents, and then they every month the prices everything is going up, every year things is going up. We went from a nickel soda to like it's almost $2 for a 2 liter, and we don't recycle like we used to. You always brought your bottles back, even if you didn't get that nickel back. You brought that bottle back to where you got it at, you know. But you got, you got something for that. So we don't really recycle like we used to, and we're going more plastic. I know, like Aunt Lurleen, like whatever she got, even if you send her a box or something to mail with wrapping paper, they could be creative, and like the next thing you know, she's done used that box for something else. It could be like, oh well, I'll just take this wrapping paper and put it, keep it nice and put it back on that box and make it like a lid, and I'll have a storage thing over here. Even if it, and then that might rotate to being used as something else later on, or they might just line a shelf, you know, um, just cut them this way, like in the bathroom or in the medicine cabinet, just glue it down, even if it's only temporarily, you know. But they would just think of different things to do. They're very creative. It's like people taking duct tape and making their prom dresses. Oh, 25 minutes. And all I want to say is that corporations that are over in China, and I don't know what I want to say. I'm very upset of the type of president, the president that we have, Trump. The way the way he talks is disturbing. What he says is disturbing. Um, I don't know. I guess I should go eat. I don't know. Okay. Sorry, five people that look at me.